Hello students, today we are looking at the midpoint of a line segment. Now let's look at this. If P is the coordinate of x1, y1 and Q happens to be the coordinate of x2, y2. Now if this part, you realize about the distance between P and Q, this has a distance. The distance is if you want to divide the distance into two equal halves. So assuming the distance is for this point, so which is r. R is the midpoint. That means half the distance between PQ is half of PQ. This is r. So r also will have its own coordinates. The coordinate of r is what? This we have in x and y. You realize this x will be the half of the distance between this point to this point, from here to here. So half of this distance here is this place, and it also have a y coordinate. It will be half of the distance of this vertical axis from here to this place is this one. So now the coordinate of r, how can we look for the coordinate of r? You realize our PR over RQ is equal to PS over XQ. So your PR over RQ is equal to PS over ST. So is equal to PS over. So then our PR and RQ, they are equal, and our PS and ST, they are equal. So our PS is what? X minus 1, and my ST is also x2 minus 2 minus this x2 minus x. So if we try to bring them together, so that I'm having x, this is x, this is minus, when it comes now turn to plus x, equals, this is minus x1, when it comes to what? Plus x1, it means x2 here. So x plus x here will give us 2x is equal to x1 plus x2. So divide both sides by 2. So that means x will give us what? X1 plus x2 over 2. So if we want to get that of y, this also for y, it will still be the same process. That means to be what? Q, and let's say this one is what? W over WT. This and this will be equal. By the time you solve this, you realize that the coordinate for y also be what? Y1 plus y2 over 2. So hence, what I just want to establish here is just that to get the midpoint of a line segment, so that means the coordinate will be what? X1 plus x2 divided by 2 to get the value for x, and y1 by plus y2 to get the value for y. So that means to get the midpoint, that is from here to this place, is we are having what? PQ. To look for the middle point, so that means you are going to see what? X1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. It will give us the midpoint here. So that is what I'm just trying to establish. Now let's consider some examples. Find the midpoint of the line joining the following pairs of points. So without really drawing the graph, you want to know where will be the midpoint halfway of, if a coordinate of A is 3 and 5, the value for x is 3, the value for y is 5, and for B the coordinate is what? Value for x is 1, value for y is 3. So what will be their midpoints? So that means the value for x, for A, your x here will be x1, y1, and your for B, the coordinate of B your 1 here will be x2, the 3 here will be y2. So to look for their midpoint, so we use this formula x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So the midpoint of the coordinate of A and B will be what? X1 is 3 plus x2 is 1, then divided by 2. Then y1 is 5 plus y2 is 3 divided by 2. 3 plus 1 is what? 4. 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. Then 5 plus 3 is what? 8. 8 divided by 2 will give us 4. So the coordinates of AB will now be what? 2, 4. The coordinate of AB, x will be what? 2, y will be what? 4. Now let's have another example. Now if the coordinate of P is what? -1 and 7, and that of Q is -3 and -5. So we are told to look for the midpoint of these two coordinates. So we want to know the coordinate that is halfway of these 2 points. So we said you are going to say that what? Your x1 is what? Your P, the coordinate of P is what? This your -1 will be your x1 and this 7 will be your y1. Then the coordinate of Q, you have what? -3 will be your x2 and -5 will be your y2. So you are going to substitute into the formula. You are having this formula that what? x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2 to be the midpoint coordinates. So their midpoint will now be, so you now substitute for your x1 is what? -1, then plus your x2 is what? -3. So over 2, then y1 is what? 7 plus then your y2 is what? -5 divided by 2. So you have -1 plus -3. Two signs are beside each other. So that means you're having plus times minus is minus. -1 minus 3 will give us what? -4. So -4 divided by 2. Then plus times minus is what? -7 minus 5 will give us 2. 2 divided by 2. So -4 divided by 2 will give us -2. And 2 divided by 2 is what? 1. So the midpoint of PQ is what? -2 and 1. Now let's look at another example. If we want to get the midpoint of this one, so that means which is what? C is what? The coordinate of C is what? 4 and 4, and that of coordinate of D is what? 2 and -6. So if we take this C, coordinate of C, which is what? This one is to be x1 and this was y1, and coordinate of D, this one is x2 and this is y2. So the midpoint of CD will be what? The middle half of CD will be what? That is what? 4. Your x1 is what? 4. Your x2 is what? 2. 4 plus 2 divided by 2. And then your y1 is what? 4. Your y2 is what? Plus -6 divided by 2. So 4 plus 2 will give us what? 6 over 2. Then plus times minus will give us minus. 4 minus 6 will now give us -2 over 2. 6 divided by 2 will give us 3. And -2 divided by 2 is what? -1. So that means the coordinates of CD, the midpoint coordinate of CD will be what? 3 and -1. X is 3, y is -1. So for your work practice, find the coordinates of the midpoint of the following of the lines joining the following pairs of points. A is 3 and -6, and this one is what? 5 and 8. B we have the coordinate -4 -2 and 1 -3. C, coordinate -6 -7 and that of -5 and -3. D, -2 -7 and 3 -2. E, -1 -1 and 7 -3. So you have to find the coordinate of the midpoint of the lines joining the pairs of points. Please make sure you like, subscribe and comment on my video. Thank you.